Here with me now is one of the top officials in the Democratic Party, a close ally of President Biden, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Thank you so much for being here. What is your reaction to that poll? 72% of voters say they don't think that the president is fit mentally or cognitively to be president.
Well, what do they think about the other guy? Do they think that he has the integrity to be president after that performance? Let us not make a judgment about a presidency on one debate. Let's talk about what it means to people in their lives. And that's why you're not seeing much change in the polls on this. The difference between Joe Biden and the former president is so clear. If you are a woman and you care about your reproductive freedom and your health, and women do, you see a complete difference between enforce a woman's right to choose on the part of Joe Biden and a ban on abortion with the other guy. If you care about job creation in America, 15 million more jobs created by Joe Biden, the worst job performance record since Herbert Hoover for the other guy. If you're concerned about saving the planet, you're a young person, you're caring about the planet and its future, Joe Biden, the first person in the Congress to pass a resolution to study climate change in the 80s, even before I was in Congress. A guy who goes to the fossil fuel industry and says, give me $1 billion so I can reverse what happened in the IRA to save the planet. The list goes on and on, whether you're talking about guns and the rest. And 16 Nobel laureates said when it comes to inflation, if the other guy gets elected, inflation will soar because of his fiscal policies. So it's not about performance in terms of a debate. It's about performance in a presidency. And I want you to know that the fact is that the reaction to the lies of Donald Trump is something that maybe TV isn't focusing on, but people are. And to have a debate where you have to spend half your time negating what he said because he has knows nothing about the truth. On one side of the screen, you have integrity. The other side, you have dishonesty.
Yeah, and we have definitely been pointing out the about 30 falsehoods that we heard from former President Trump. But what you just did, Madam Speaker, was make the argument for Joe Biden's reelection in a way that he did not on Thursday night. Isn't that a problem?
I don't think it's a problem. It's a bad night. I see everything as an opportunity. Okay, you want to contrast what these people can do in a debate if you're not even telling the truth, or do you want to talk what it means to you in your life when this person becomes president? This president, look, he lied about January 6th. This was a horrible event in our country's history. He was the president of the United States who instigated an insurrection. He tries to blame it on me. Yeah, I planned my own assassination when he was sitting on his butt in the White House, not sending the National Guard and lying about it on the show. And people are well-meaning. I had one of your reporters say, did he really send the National Guard? No, if they don't even know, then how can we make a judgment about how other people evaluate a presentation? So this is a dangerous person as opposed to a person who, again, saved our country from COVID. The first bill we passed, shots in the arms, money in pocket, people in jobs, children at school. This president, with his denial and delay, caused people to die.
Yeah, and I completely understand what you're doing, and you are making the arguments that you are hoping that Democratic voters listen to about why Donald Trump is bad and shouldn't be put back in the White House. But the reality is there are still a lot of concerns that Joe Biden is the person to get you to that point, to making sure that Donald Trump is not back in there. No. Some prominent columnists, several newspaper editorial boards are just simply calling for Biden to step aside for the good of the country. Tom Friedman, a friend of President Biden's, wrote the following. He wrote, Joe Biden, a good man and a good president, has no business running for re-election. If he insists on running and he loses to Trump, Biden and his family and his staff and party members who enabled him will not be able to show their faces. What do you say to that? Is there any part of you that believes that President Biden should step aside?
I want you to know I came home to California, South and North, and people are for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They have some judgment about a person who sat on that, stood on that stage and lied. If you're just talking about the debate, I'm respectful of some of the opinions that people have, but I also am respectful of the grassroots. My people are very much Biden, Kamala Harris. And this is an opportunity for Joe Biden to go out there and show he has the stamina and the rest. And by the way, while the press, and for some reason they don't, there are healthcare professionals who think that Trump has dementia, that his connection, his thoughts do not go together. Not only that he just lies, he doesn't even know the truth. So if we're just talking about mental acuity, let's be fair about it. I don't think Tom Friedman thinks that Donald Trump should be president of the United States. And while he may be saying we're enablers, we see Joe Biden up close. We know how attuned he is to the issues, how informed he is. And I debate with him about legislation, and not debate, but discuss it with him. He's right there. So in any case, it was a bad night. Let's not sugarcoat that. It was a bad night. It was a great presidency. And that's what the American people have to choose. A night where somebody's going to just misrepresent the facts completely, and then you're on your guard. The other person has to negate that, or again, it was a bad night. Let's move on from that. It's all an opportunity. Our members have been very thoughtful. They're very concerned about a president who would lie the way they do, and then the Republicans just go embrace those misrepresentations.
Let me ask you about those members, because there are House and Senate Democrats who are worried that Joe Biden could be a drag on their races and could ultimately cost you the Senate, maybe even the ability to retake the House. Do you have any of those concerns?
We definitely will win the House of Representatives. It may come as a surprise to you, but when they saw the performance of Trump, donors doubled down and said, we absolutely have to have the Congress. So it kind of had an opposite effect in terms of the races. The members are always concerned about the top of the ticket. That's just the way it is. They're always concerned about the top of the ticket.
Are they more concerned now?
But I don't think well, we'll see. You can't make a judgment after one night. We'll just see. As Hakeem has said, we'll have our discussions as we go forward. But how do we walk away from a record of great performance on the part of this president with a promise to do more in terms of all the issues we talked about, and what we like to see, us and some of the women's caucus, womenomics, where women in the workplace, where we have family and medical leave, where we have affordable child care, where we have home health care for women who are caregivers. Men are caregivers too, so that we can have an economy where everyone participates to the fullest and children are cared for, because it's all about the children. So it's difficult. Politics is difficult. It's never easy. And again, members will make their own decision. Wouldn't be the first time in campaigns, as long as I've been involved since I was chair of the party in the 80s, that people have not said, I'm running my own race. I'm not being associated with you, me, or the top of the ticket.
Yeah, just real quick, because you mentioned that you have been a party chair before. Is there even a mechanism that you think would work if President Biden did decide to step aside? You know, the campaign says that it would cause weeks of chaos and internal food fighting.
Well, again, there's nothing as well as just as Joe Biden getting up and taking the ball over the finish line. Something else could be chaotic. I don't say that to say that could never happen, because it might. I don't mean now. I mean in history it could. But understand this. This is really important for people to understand. Joe Biden has won the nomination. He has won the nomination.
But not officially. He hasn't. The roll call hasn't happened.
Yeah, but no, but the roll call has been happening around the country because of the timing of the election. It's a very different year.
Got it.
And so you would have to undo the nomination to do something else. That would not be a reason to do it or not do it. The question is, Joe Biden's decision to go forward is a decision that we will all embrace because of the record he has and the performance that will come with it, and the contrast, a woman's life and job creation, reducing inflation, saving the planet, stopping the gun violence. The list goes on and on. Right. LGBTQ rights and all the rest.
Okay.
There's so much at stake, including our democracy. Our flag is still there with liberty and justice for all. That's what the election is about. It's not about one night's election.
Forgive me. Okay. We are out of time.
Thank you.
We are out of time. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Appreciate it. And we'll be right back.
Thank you. My pleasure.